and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanna do my first knitting podcast. I have come to love knitting over really like heavily at the beginning of this year. I did start I think like 2 years before, but it was like a really small amount of knitting that I did, and yeah, at the beginning of this year I really fell head over heels for knitting and crocheting, but like a little bit less crochet than knitting. And so yeah, I have knit actually quite a few things so far this year, and I actually just wanted to share with other people because I love watching knitting podcasts and kind of getting inspiration from what other people have knit, and also the yarns that they use and what modifications they did, and I just really enjoy watching those kind of videos. And so I thought, you know what, I love knitting and I kind of want to share that. I know like my mom used to knit, but I know nobody in my real life that knits, and so I do what I do best. I go to the internet to share my hobbies here. So yeah, I hope yeah, it's fine to upload like these knitting podcasts on the book channel, because reading and knitting are like obviously reading is a really big hobby, but like knitting is getting to be like a massive hobby of mine. So I wanted to share on my channel, and I hope you all are fine with that. So I wanted to start kind of in chronological order of how I knit them. And yeah, this is all from this year. The first thing I knit is this, and this is the Solstice Spencer by Mandy Jolie. I really liked the picture of it. I'm gonna blend like a picture in how it's supposed to look, because we're gonna come to that in a minute, that it's not looking as on the picture. But yeah, I really fell in love with this like lacy stitch, so you can really see through it. And I had some cotton from previous experimentation. I didn't really have a lot of like nicer yarns at the beginning of this year, and I bought a lot of them through this year, but I had a lot of cotton, and I still have a lot of cotton, and so I thought, you know what, let me get one of my cottons and just try this. I didn't even do a gauge swatch because I didn't know the importance of them at the beginning of this year, and so I didn't do a gauge swatch, and then I knit the size S. And for that I used the Franzi Cotton 8-4, which I really like the yarn. I just made this too small. I can wear it, and I will insert a picture for you here how it looks when I wear it. But yeah, this is not a size S, because I have realized I'm a really tight knitter, and I always have to size up needles. It's really rare that I don't have to size up needles. So I should have sized up needles or knit a bigger size, but I didn't know that at the beginning of the year. So yeah, we have this one, which is technically a size S from the stitch count, but it is probably more like an XS or XXS from how it wears. Because for me it's a tank top, it's not a Spencer. I can't wear it over other things because that's too snug for that, but I absolutely love it. I love wearing this. I think it looks really good even as like more of a tank top, and I love the stitch. I really fell in love with the stitch when I did this. And yeah, I knit a size XS, not a size S. So I knit it even smaller because obviously I measured myself and I'm a size XS or S in tops, and so this is a size XS as a tight knitter, and so it came out even smaller than it should be. I used needle sizes 3.25 millimeters and 3.5 millimeters, which are the ones given in the pattern. I really like the pattern. I would love if the pattern would have been knit in the round. I enjoy knitting in the round a lot more than knitting panels. But yeah, if someday I get the itch to knit this again in a proper size so I can wear it over on other things, I will probably just modify the pattern and then knit it in the round. I'm now at the point where I can do that without a problem. But yeah, I do enjoy knitting in the round a lot more, but I really love this. This was a real hit, and that is what kind of kickstarted my obsession with knitting and stopping buying clothes, really, especially like tops and jackets and stuff like that. And cardigans and stuff like that, because I just fell in love with the top. And yeah, I still have a lot of this yarn left, so we'll see. Maybe I will do make myself a bigger one at some. Then after that, I actually went ahead and knit myself some shorts. I really like, the weather was starting to warm up, and in Germany we had a really early hot spring, and so I decided I kind of want to knit shorts, and I looked up the pattern and I found the balcony shorts. And I'm really sorry that these are really creased, but that is because I'm wearing these all the time. They are my at-home chill shorts for when the weather is warmer. I absolutely love them. But yeah, that is why they are looking a little bit more frumpy. Though I do think these aren't perfect, and I'm kind of thinking about improving the pattern for myself. But yeah, let's talk about the pattern in itself. These are by Gina Mastriani. I hope I pronounced that right. They are called the balcony shorts. I knit a size L in these. I have to say, for that, I measured myself, and my hip measurement would have been an XS, and no, my waist measurement would have been an XS, but my waist measurement was an XL. I would say more like a pear or an hourglass, more like in that direction. So I have really heavily skewed proportions when it comes to that. So I just went with an L and hoped it would work out. I did do a gauge swatch this time around though, so I knew what kind of measurements I would get out of it. But yeah, I just hoped the L would like make them a little bit snugger, so not as loosely as they were with a lot of other people, but would make them small enough at the waist so that it wouldn't look ridiculous. And I think I achieved that. They don't have the perfect fit, and I think that is the problem with my hips. Because for me they bunch up a lot at the front, so I have a lot of extra fabric at the front, and I think that is partially the pattern and partially the fit on myself. I used size 4mm needles, and that is a half a size up from what was recommended in the pattern. And the yarn that I used was the Franz Cotton Silk by Hobie, and I absolutely fell in love with this yarn. This is 77% cotton and 23% silk, and this feels so nicely on the skin. This is the perfect summer yarn. When I wear these in like warm weather, you don't feel them, even though they aren't thin from the fabric. Like the fabric feels quite substantial, but you do not feel them on your body. It like pretty much has your body temperature. It doesn't feel like you're wearing that much fabric. So yeah, I absolutely fell in love with the fabric the yarn creates, and I will definitely work more with the fabric in the future. But yeah, now the thing is, these are made with an elastic in the waist. Mine already twisted. I don't know, I think that's not ideal. I think I would change that into a ribbed waistband that you not necessarily would need to put an elastic in. Or I would secure the elastic at least at like one point or something like that, because mine is twisted now, which obviously isn't ideal. One thing I need to say that goes with this top as well, this goes perfectly into the washing machine, which for me is like a non plus ultra. I love it when things go into the washing machine. Other than that, yeah, I don't really have much to say about them. I love them. You would have seen how they look when I wear them, and yeah, they could be better, but I think for my first try making bottoms, I think they were really good. They were a good lesson to learn that I hate seaming things together, and especially these shorts. I much rather pick stitches up on it in the round and then go from there. So I would change the construction of shorts going forward, because these are knit like half and half, and then you seam them together in the middle, which is kind of cool to try them on, because I could see early on that they would fit me. But I don't like the construction like that. I would much rather go from the top and then knit from the top down. I found a few patterns that do that, so I know it is possible, and I do think I would prefer that personally. The next thing I knit after that was a classic, I would say, looking online at least, and that is the Step by Step sweater by Florence Miller. I love this sweater. I love the yarn I used. I have like pretty much no complaints about this sweater at all. I knit the size B, but I started with the collar of the size D because I do not like things touching my neck as much. So I just thought if I do a bigger collar and then swap to the increases and everything else from size B, that actually would work, and that is what it did. It worked out really well, actually. I think I did have to do a few more rounds before I could split for the sleeves, but I think that is like a really personal thing. I feel like, at least like from the patterns I've knit so far, I have pretty large arm or like shoulders, and I often have to do a few more rows further down just so I can fit my arms comfortably, or it's just like that I like the fit a little bit looser than other people. That might also be the case. Yeah, for this one I used Drops Nepal in this like grayish purple color. I really love the color. I have fallen in love with this color. I think it looks really good on me. And yeah, I used 5mm needles and 6mm needles, which is also 0.5mm bigger than the pattern suggested, because I couldn't get gauge with the smaller needles, but after that I could get gauge. And yeah, the only thing I changed, I think, other than the length, which obviously you are supposed to do however long you want it, is I didn't do the decreases on the arms, because I personally love an arm that isn't a sleeve that isn't as snug on the arm. I love a little bit of space there. I just didn't do the decreases, and that worked out fine. I just had to do more like rapid decreases before the ribbing, and that wasn't a problem at all. And so yeah, I am absolutely in love with this sweater. I have gotten to wear it, I think, twice since I knit it, because it's obviously not sweater weather. It is way too warm this summer to even wear anything like this, but yeah, I cannot wait for fall to come around and for me to be able to wear this a whole lot. Though I do have to say, the yarn for me is slightly scratchy. I am super sensitive with my skin, and so the Drops Nepal is 65% wool and 35% alpaca. So I would use this again, but maybe for like a garment that is like really oversized, where you would put something long sleeved underneath. At least for me, I can wear the sweater, but I haven't worn it a full day yet, so I don't know if I can get through a full day. But I know that I am extremely sensitive and I have a lot of skin issues. So I think for most people that probably wouldn't be an issue, but for me it might be an issue that I couldn't test out yet. So yeah, I have still a lot to learn about yarn and knitting. After that, I did my first petite knit pattern, though I have to say I started this before I did any of the other things. But I struggled so much with this pattern, at no fault of the pattern, it was all my fault, that I had to frog it 3 times, and then 4th time was a charm, and I ended up with a wonderful balloon cardigan by Petite Knit, which is really hard to show you because it is such a loose knit. I knit the size S in the end, which worked out really well. It fits really well, though I do think the v-neck is too low for me because it doesn't hold on my shoulders if I close it. I can wear it open, but if I close the buttons up, it tends to slip from my shoulders, which isn't ideal. But I love it so much anyway that I don't really care all that much. But yeah, you know, can you see that it looks like one arm is a different color? I did not realize that. Oh my god. Yes, on camera you can see a line. Oh my god. Is it on the other sleeve as well? Am I dumb? Is there a line? Yeah. Oh, so I might have gone to dye lots. I actually never looked at the dye lots. That is something I also ran recently. Let's quickly talk about the yarn. I used Unicorn Solid by Hobbii. Obviously, I bought a lot of yarn from Hobbii in the beginning because it was affordable and I didn't have any idea what I'm doing. This is 75% merino wool and 25% polyamide. I love this yarn. I think it's technically a sock yarn, but this is so comfortable to wear. This feels heavenly on my skin. So yeah, I'm glad I have quite a bit more of this yarn because I bought it when it was on sale, because it is quite expensive, at least for somebody who didn't know what they were doing. But yeah, it feels so heavenly on my skin. But yeah, it seems like I bought the yarn all in one go, I think, at least. And it seems like I got different dye knots looking at the cardigan. You can't see it in like normal light in real life, I think. It's just something that I just realized looking at the camera screen. But yeah, I used this yarn. I think it took me 3 or 2.5 skeins of this. But yeah, I had a lot of trouble with this. The thing is, when I started it first, I didn't know about gauge swatching. I didn't do it. I mean, it you know, every pattern says do a gauge swatch, and I was like, why? Yeah, I realized why pretty quickly. In the end, I had to size up the needles a full millimeter, and that means, and it is a lot thinner than I thought initially what it should be. I would actually do it different if I would do it again. I would actually use the recommended needle size and just size the pattern up and knit like a size L or something like that, because for me I think it's too loose the knit. I would have enjoyed it a little bit less see-through, I think. But I do love the cardigan the way it is. You see, that is the one problem I have with this. I love how it is, but I would also love it in the other versions, so I am tempted to knit another one, but I think I just have to look for a v-neck cardigan that is really, really similar to this one, just with the v-neck starting way more at top, because for me the v-neck only starts like at the middle of my boob or something, so it starts really, really low, and I don't love that for closing the cardigan. But yeah, if I wear it open, it is the perfect cardigan. I will have inserted some clips of me wearing it. I really, really love this, and I wear it pretty much every day. That also means that it is building... Oh, I've forgotten what you call these. Can you even see it? Yeah, you can see it here. The yarn is shedding a little bit. I need to cut these off, but I do have to say, ever since I finished it, which is I think the end of May or sometime around there, I have worn this pretty much more or less every day. So it has gotten a lot of use, and it looks really good for that still. But yeah, now knowing a lot more, sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I would have done the cardigan now that I know more. But like, how would I learn more if I don't knit the things, So yeah, I have a lot of love for that cardigan. Also, I think the petite knit pattern was written really nicely. I really enjoyed that one. So yeah, I would actually recommend those. I get why a lot of people knit those. Then we are coming to one of my favorite projects, even though these are nearly all favorites, but I think this is one I was so proud of when I finished it, and that is the Mist Sleeves pattern by... Oh no, I forgot to put the name of the creator in my notes, so I'm gonna insert it here. I'm really sorry that I forgot to put that down. But yeah, these are called the Mist Sleeves. They look like this when you put them on, and then it's just sleeves. I am somebody who loves wearing tank tops, and sometimes I don't want a full cardigan, but more something like this. So that is what I did that for. I knit the size S. I hit gauge with my yarn, and yeah, I used 7mm needles, which is the recommended were 6 or 7mm needles, depending on which type of a yarn you used. I used the Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk for this. I really enjoyed this yarn. It feels great on my skin, which was a thing I was afraid of with with mohair. I've heard that mohair isn't like the softest on the skin, so I went with the Brushed Alpaca Silk, and I love this. It feels great on the skin, and this is just knit with 2 strands held double. So you get this really, really nice fabric. It feels wonderful on the skin. I have worn this quite a few times already. It is too warm really to wear it in like any warmer weather, so it's more of like a fall piece of clothing, I would say. But yeah, I wear it every time I get the opportunity to, when it's you know, when it's not as warm. I wear this all the time. I love it. Yeah, so this one I did 7mm needles because the brushed alpaca silk is a little bit thicker than most mohairs, so I thought the 7mm would probably work out. I did a gauge swatch that was pretty accurate, and then I did block it out a little bit bigger because I felt like the sleeves felt a little bit short, but I'm still learning how much fabric grows, so I wasn't totally sure, but it worked out perfectly the way I did the blocking. I actually bought like a blocking mat and like blocking combs for that, instead of like the little metal needles you get with a lot of sets, because I felt like they would do a little bit better of a job. So that is what I did, and yeah, it made a really good job of blocking that. As you can see in the clips of me where I wear it, I am loving that top. Now we are coming to the first fail, and so far the only fail, that I finished knitting, and that is the top sole by Mochi Knits. I love the look of this top on other people. It knit up really nicely. The pattern was wonderful. I enjoyed the knitting. I just think it doesn't look good on me. So the problem isn't the knit piece in itself, is that I don't like how it looks on me, and so yeah, I obviously won't wear it, but I kept it intact till I get around to film this video, because I will unravel this and knit something else with the yarn I use, because I like the yarn. I just don't think that the top looks good on me. This one I knit a size S, and I actually used the recommended needles, which were a size 3.5mm needle, and I used Drops Bell for this. I'm still not sure about the color per se. I like the yarn. Drops Bell is a combination of cotton, viscose, and linen. It feels really nice on the skin. The thing that I'm not totally sure about is the color, because on my screen, like my computer screen, it looked a lot more purple, but it is much more of a gray with a little bit of purple strands in there. So yeah, it makes this really grayish colored top. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure about the color, but I think the fact that I don't like the fit makes me not even be able to judge the color, because when I look at this, I don't even like how it looks on me. So yeah, I will unravel this, sadly. But I mean, I think it looks really good. Like, the knitting itself was really nice and it came out really nicely. It's just I do have to learn still what I like on myself, and as I don't have anybody I can gift this to, I will unravel this and use the yarn for something else for myself, because I was a little bit disappointed about that. I then went on and knit myself another tank top. This one hasn't been washed yet and hasn't been blocked yet because I finished it this morning. So that is this one. Okay. This is the Vegas top by Susanne Müller. I knit a size S and it came out really nicely. It's just your really standard tank top, I would say, and that is what I love to wear, and then a cardigan on top. That is pretty much my everyday kind of outfit. And so yeah, I found this wonderful gray lilac-y cotton yarn by Hobbii again, and this is the Rainbow 8/6 cotton. I really love this one. This one is a slightly bigger one than the purple one, and it is the rainbow line. I don't know what the difference is between the two lines, but I feel like this one drapes a little bit nicer and feels a little bit softer. So I actually, if you want to look for cotton on Hobbii, I would actually go for the rainbow instead of the Friends, but the Friends is more compatible with other yarns because they share the same colors. But yeah, I think this one looks really nice. obviously you can tell it's not blocked yet. The I-cord details are still a little bit curling, but yeah, I love how that looks. I tried it on, it looked really nice. Tried on. I don't think it will change a lot with blocking. Cotton doesn't seem to change at all with washing and blocking, but also this means because it is 100% cotton, I can throw it into the washing machine, which I love. So yeah, that way it can become like an everyday top for me. And yeah, if I really love this, I would be tempted to actually knit another one of these, because the Vegas top, I think it took me like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days to knit this up, which was really, really fast, and I love the result of this. It makes a really nice fabric, and yeah, I used the recommended needles actually with this one. So yeah, it seems really, really different from pattern to pattern if I can use the recommended needles or if I have to size up my needles, which obviously just shows how important it is to make a gauge swatch. But yeah, this is what my last finish actually. And then I just wanted to talk about my nearly finished piece, because I do have one more whip that I already started, but I only did a couple of rows, and so I think we should probably just continue with the one that is nearly finished. So this is my current whip, and that is a sweater, because obviously we're still in summer and I'm knitting winter clothes, but what can you do, right? This is the Wait For It sweater by Anne-Katrine Stoll, and I am knitting this in the cotton merino by Drops in this really, really nice dark green color. And as you can see, I am still knitting the body. I am finished with the sleeves, hopefully. We're coming to that. And yeah, I have this wonderful, wonderful color, and I think the color came out really, really nicely. And then you have a few cables and these triangles on the front that are made with purled stitches in between the knit fabric. But yeah, I really like the feel of the cotton merino, I have to say. I don't have, actually I have a skein to show you, because, and that is a problem I'm having right now, this is the last skein that I have. As you can see, I'm still at the body. I don't even know if I'm able to finish the body with the amount of yarn that I still have, because I originally bought the yarn for a different pattern, but then I found this pattern and fell in love and needed to knit this, and now I might not have enough yarn. And then coming to that, I think my arms are too short. I don't know how much cotton merino grows, because merino grows quite a lot, cotton doesn't really seem to grow, so I don't know how much this will grow. And I was running out of yarn, so I, yeah, made a little bit shorter sleeves in the hopes that it will block out, but if not, I might have to get a little bit more yarn. Also, all depending on if I have even enough yarn to finish the body, which I don't think I will have. But yeah, it will, depending on if I have enough yarn or not, this sweater will not be finished for a while, because I don't have plans on buying more yarn at the moment. I need to work through the yarn that I have, because going into, before we talk about that, let's talk about this one a little bit more. This is the size SM. The sizing isn't great for this pattern. That is something I'm also still learning about like size inclusive patterns and choosing patterns also with the aspect of how size inclusive they are. I haven't done that so far because, to be honest, it's just not something I ever thought about. Being in the body, being the size that I am, I don't often have problems with sizing. So yeah, this only has 3 sizes, I think, and this is the size SM. And I'm using 4mm needles and 3.5mm needles, which are, I think, the recommended size of needles. So yeah. Yeah, the yarn buying thing. I bought a lot of yarn when I started really, really, really enjoying knitting. I do own a lot of acrylic yarn and polyester yarn that I obviously don't love using for clothing, and I did knit and crochet with that before, like the 2 years before, but nothing that ever looked really good, and I didn't use patterns. It was a little bit of a chaotic era of myself. And then I did buy a lot of cotton because cotton was something that I kind of was familiar with, and I knew what I wanted. I could kind of do quite a few things with that, and I really like cotton. I just, then realized you can't use cotton for everything. And then I started buying yarn at the beginning of this year when I started getting more into knitting, and I personally feel like I went a little bit overboard. So before I order any more yarn, I want to get through a bit of my yarn. But that also means that that it's impractical to order more for this one, because let's be honest, if I order yarn, I want to get to at least the free shipping stage, because otherwise it's not really, like, obviously I'm saving money if I get to the free shipping stage, but that would mean buying a lot more yarn than I would need, and that is something I don't want to do right now. So if I don't have enough yarn for this whip will get put away until I have worked through more of my yarn, and then it will be brought out again. But yeah, I will try to knit as far as I can with the little bit I have left, and then we'll see. But yeah, that is kind of the state of what I knit this year so far, and getting more into knitting. I have so many projects in my head. It is a little bit problematic because I can't do them all, obviously, and I have to decide what I want to do. I also want to dabble a little bit into not really designing my own things, but like I want to knit myself some trousers, for example, just for at home, but different from what I've did with the shorts, and I kind of want to just do my own thing and yeah, design my own trousers, or like joggers. So that is something I want to do, and then I have a cardigan that I did like a few rows on so far. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about that one in the next podcast. But yeah, I have so many project ideas, and I'm just loving it at the moment. I'm just really, really into knitting myself stuff. I'm dabbling into crocheting a bit more, but I'm gonna do that in a different episode, I think. And yeah, just the joy of making myself clothes that I really love wearing. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's really brilliant, and there's a wonderful, wonderful community on YouTube that I found that I think is really, really cool, and there are so many creative people on here. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe find something that you might want to knit as well, or just, are here to support me. Thank you so much if you've come to the end of the video. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope your knitting goes ever well, and that you find as much joy in knitting as I'm doing at the moment. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm kind of hoping I can do maybe one month, something like that. We will see how it works out, but yeah, I do want to do more of these because I just kind of enjoy talking about my knitting, and I don't really have anybody in my direct like friend circle or anything that I can do that with. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully I will see you in another video. Bye.